For years, my week looked like this. I'd get to the office at 8:30 in the morning, at the first meeting at 9, and I go from meeting to meeting until 5 p.m. I get home by 5:30, 5:45, and have dinner with the family. And then in the evening, I'd finally sit down and do the real work. The thinking, the writing, the decisions that mattered, preparing presentations. That's when I did the work, in the evenings and the weekends. My days were completely full, and I was busy every single minute, every single hour. A lot of those meetings were really important, of course. Every time that a slot opened up, a meeting got cancelled, somebody else would book it. They'd have a question, quick review, or maybe a sync that they wanted to talk about. I didn't own my own time. Everybody else did. And there are two things that were going wrong at the same time, and there are two things that I want to talk you through today. I was spending my time on work that created very little value. And I was spending it in meetings that just drained my energy, the time and the energy. Most of us only ever think about the first one, the time. We try to manage it and we never look at the energy. You might remember the CIO that I talked about in the first video that I put out. She was working 60-hour weeks, fixing incidents herself twice a week, and it was costing her evenings and weekends. Same thing. Her calendar was full of work that wasn't hers and wasn't high value. Nobody had ever sat down with her and looked at where those 60 hours actually went until we did together. This happens to a lot of leaders, and the reason is very simple. You get promoted, but you kept doing your old job because you were good at it and it's comfortable. The stuff that you were brilliant at 2 levels ago is still there and it feels like work because it always did. So you don't question it. And if you run IT inside a big organization, it's a lot worse because the firefighting never stops. There's incidents, there's outages, there's constant escalations. It's all urgent. So it feels like the most important thing in the world. And it takes the entire week. Strategic work just waits for the evenings or the weekends. Almost nobody stops to look at where their week actually goes. There's a very simple exercise that fixes this. I picked it up years ago from Dan Martell's book, Buy Back Your Time, and I've adapted it for myself and the leaders that I coach. I use it in almost every person that I coach. There's 5 steps, so let me take you through them. Let's start with this first idea. Your calendar is the most honest version of your priorities and your strategy. Not the deck that you presented, not the objectives that you wrote down in January, your calendar. Try it right now. Ask yourself what your top priority is supposed to be right now, this quarter, this month, this week. Now open the calendar for last week or this week and look at where your time actually went. Do they match? For almost everyone, they don't. And it's not even close. We tell ourselves a story about what we're focused on. The calendar tells what's really going on. And when the two don't line up, the calendar always wins. I mean, how could it not? So before you try and fix anything, you have to analyze your calendar carefully. And that's what the next step is for. The exercise itself is really simple. For 1 week, you write down what you're doing every 15 minutes, all of it. The meetings, the email, the interruptions, the phone call, the issues that you fixed yourself because of a fast to do. I know how that sounds. It sounds tedious, 15-minute slots. It sounds like a lot. And I know your week is already full. So let me be realistic about it. A full week is ideal, but if that's never going to happen, even 2 or 3 honest days will show you a pattern and give you an idea. What you can't do is guess. Because if you guess, you'll make an optimistic guess every single time. A few days of actually writing down how you spend your time does more than a month worth of guessing. And it's enough to see the overall shape, the meetings that keep coming back, that repeat, the work that keeps coming back to you, the slots that always get taken by others like mine. Do that, and at least you've got a first map. Now, let's score it. Step 3. This is the part that makes it more than just a time log. You go through every single block and you give it 2 scores. That order matters. The first score and the one that decides everything is value. How much is this block actually worth to the business? And is it something that someone at my level should be doing? Score from 1 to 4 in dollars or euro signs or something. You don't need to be precise, but you do need to be honest. And honest is really hard at this part. Is it really creating value? The work that you kept doing from 2 levels ago feels valuable. You're good at it, people thank you for it, and that's a trap. Because being good at something and it being best use of your time at your level are not the same thing. Telling those two apart is the actual hard part of the whole exercise. If you already knew block by block what was really genuinely high value at your level, you wouldn't be stuck in this first place. That judgment is the real work here, so take your time. The second score is the one that everybody forgets or ignores. It's the energy. Did this activity give me energy or did it drain me? Some work leaves you a lot more energized than when you started it. Some leaves you flat, it's neutral. And some of the work, some of the meetings just drain your energy. Mark each block of time. Now, the 2 scores work together. Value decide what stays and what goes. Energy does not. The high value work, you still have to do it. It tells you 2 other things. First, When do you do your high value work? Put in the hours when your energy is highest, not at the end of the day or 4 in the afternoon when you're already exhausted from the day. And second, it also warns you about the sneaky blocks in your calendar, the low value work that gives you energy, the comfortable stuff that you're really good at. It feels good, so you protect it and you tell yourself it's fine because you enjoy it. But it's still not your job anymore. And that's the exact work that keeps good leaders stuck for years. Enjoying something is not a reason to keep doing it. When you're done, the work that's high value and genuinely needs you at your level, that's what your calendar should really be built around. Everything else is just a candidate for what comes next. The fourth step, act on the results of your time and energy audit. Start with the low value work that drains you because that's the easiest to get rid of. And it's the work that you should be doing anyway. It's the work doing you the most harm right now. For each one, there's two questions. First, most important, does this work need to happen at all? A surprising amount of what we do every day is just a habit, and if we didn't do it, nobody would really miss it. A report that nobody reads anyway, a meeting that was too long, or maybe it made sense when we planned it 2 years ago. If it doesn't need to happen, just stop doing it. That's the easiest win. Second, if it does need to happen, but it isn't really yours, delegate it. Where does it belong? Delegating work well is a skill in itself. I made a whole video on how to do it so that the work actually gets done properly, and it's earlier on in this series. If that's the part that you struggle with, go watch that video. Subscribe to the channel and it's right there in the list. Now, if you run IT inside a big company, I know delegating isn't always that simple. Some of this really is just stuck to you. It's work that you have to do. The P1 bridge at 2 in the morning or Sunday morning, I've been there. The board report that you just have to present yourself and prepare yourself. This ERP cutover where you just have to sign off. The audit finding that's assigned to you. And you might be dealing with a headcount freeze, a works council, or a CFO that just is insisting on budget cuts or counts every single role before they sign off on anything. That's all real, and I've dealt with every one of them. But two things are still true. Even with all of that, those restrictions, more of your work can be delegated than you think. And the audit is what shows you exactly which pieces those are. The work that genuinely is stuck to you, the work that you need to do, you need to protect and not feel guilty about. What's left after you stop and delegate is the high value work that only you can do. Don't leave it to chance. You block it on your calendar real time and you defend it like a meeting you can't move, because it's more important than most of the meetings that you can't move either. Last step is all about keeping this up, because a leadership role doesn't end. A project finishes and 30 more are going to wait. Most of us came up as sprinters. You get a hard problem, you put your head down, you push through, you get it all done, and you finish. A leadership role, and this was my surprise when I started this, it's not a sprint with a finish line. It's not one thing that you're working on. There's always 30, 40 different things going on in parallel. It's a marathon that just keeps going. And the leaders who are still sharp and still happy when they're 5 years or even a decade in aren't the ones who work the hardest. They're the ones who figured out how to sustain themselves. And this is where the energy score pays off. There's a myth that burnout comes from too many hours. It doesn't. A good team will happily put in 50, 60 hours a week and love it as long as the work means something and they feel recognized for it. They love the work. Burnout is what happens when your energy is gone. There's no meaning, there's no recognition, there's no control of your own days, and the work keeps coming anyway. That's exactly the state of a full calendar of low value, draining work that puts you in, which is why you score energy and not just value. Watch for the early signs in yourself and in your team as well. If you come in on Monday morning and you're already exhausted, if you take a week off, you go on holiday and it does you no good at all, if you argue over things that probably shouldn't matter, those aren't small issues. They're a signal that the way that you're leading right now needs to change. The way you're working needs to change before your body is going to change it for you. Put your high value work where your energy is highest and then guard the time that you win back, because you will win some back. And the moment you do, somebody will try to book it and claim it. That was my whole problem for years. Every open slot got filled by somebody who asked for it. An open hour in your calendar is not an invitation. It's yours and you own it. You have to be willing to say no to protect it, and that's hard, and you have to do it anyway. One more thing on where your time goes. For most leaders, the single biggest drain is meetings. There's a whole video coming on how to run meetings that actually decide something instead of draining the entire room or everyone's present, and it's next in the series. Subscribe below to be sure that you're notified when that one comes out as well. Meetings are very difficult and very energy draining, but they can be done right. So that's it. Your calendar is the most honest version of your strategy. Log your week in 15-minute blocks, score every block on the value that it created and on the energy. Then stop what you can, delegate the work that isn't yours, and protect the work that only you can do. And run it like a marathon. not a sprint. So you're still standing in 5 or 10 years. Underneath all 5 steps, what this is really about isn't productivity. It isn't squeezing more into the day. It's growing into the level that you're actually at. Your calendar should look like the leader that you are now, not the person that you were 1 or 2 promotions ago. When you fix that, you stop doing your old job in your spare time and you start doing the job that you were promoted to do. And if you want to go deeper on what your levels should actually look like, there's a book worth reading, The Performance Pipeline by Drotter. I actually have it right here. So I really recommend this book. It's not the easiest read, but everything that you want in there is in there. It lays out level by level what the real work is and how your time should be spent at each level. A good way to check your own audit against what your job is supposed to be. So this week, do one thing. Run the audit, even if it's messy, even if it's just a couple of honest days, although I'd rather have you do it for a week. I've put the scorecard that I actually use myself and my coaching in the description below. It's ready to go. It's free. Just grab it, make a copy and start. Find your 3 biggest value drains and get rid of just one. That's how this starts. And if you run it and you want a second pair of eyes, you want a second opinion on what you found, there's a link for that too. This is one video in a series on growing into a genuine strategic leadership. If that's where you are right now on that journey, subscribe to the channel and follow along for the past videos and all the videos that are still going to come on this subject.